Only man has been given this opportunity to realize Brahman. Because man is the best creation of Brahman. He is very happy with man. Unfortunately, now he is not very happy because we are not behaving according to what he wanted. We are doing as we please. We have forgotten the goal of life is realization of Brahman. We are running behind all kinds of Maya. That's why he is unhappy. So once in a while he is going to shake the boat, rock the boat and make you think, what are we doing here? So this is Brahman's idea, and be devoted and dedicated to that idea of Brahman. You have no fear whatsoever. Fourth one, it says, Iha chet ashakat bodhum prak sharirasya visrasaha tatah sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. It says chet, if, iha, in this world itself, ashakat, you are capable of what? Bodhum, realizing. What? Before prak sharirasya visrasaha, before the body's visrasa dropped away, prak shariraha. Before that time comes, your body is gone. The manav janma is over. Before such a time comes, if you can realize this Brahman in this world, as you are here in the Martya Loka, then you are free. Otherwise, tatah sargeshu lokesho sharirattvaya kalpate. Otherwise, you go to different lokas. Sargeshu lokesu, or nice lokas only. Sarga means beautiful. Nisarga we say. Sargeshu lokeshu, nice lokas only, where people go with some merits. Sharirattvaya kalpate, for the sake of another body you will be going. So we have heard about the lokas, haven't we? Bhur, bhuva, swaha, maha, janaha, tapa, satyam, above, and adala, vitala, sutala, daladala, rasatala, mahatala, patala, below. Lokas means what? Experience is loka. In your home, when you are living in peace, your home is Swarga Loka. The moment there is a disharmony and discord and fights, you say, I am living in a living hell. So there is no separate hell and heaven. Even where you are now, your mind is not at peace, that itself is hell for you. So idea is that if you realize this before you drop the body, the similar thought comes in Bhagavad Gita also. It says that Chaknoti iha eva. Yaha, the one who realizes it now, sodhum, and controls, before the body drops away, prak sharira vimokshanat, before the body is dropped away, somebody who realizes right here and controls what? Kama krodha udbhavam vegam. This kama and krodha come at great speed. So they don't come slowly announcing, tomorrow morning I am the anger, I'll meet you at 9 a.m. at your home. And then I will do this. And Kama doesn't tell, at 11 p.m. tonight I am coming. Udbhavam vegam. Immediately it comes. So those sodhum, those who can control this, learn to control it. Such shaknoti, the same ashakat it says the word here. There also shaknoti iha eva yaha sodhum prak sharira vimokshanad kama krodha udbhavam vegam. Sa yuktaha sa sukhi naraha, it says. The one who realizes that he has to control this kama krodha and the line behind, Mada Matsara and all those people. The one who is able to control them before the body drops off. Such a person alone is a yukta, adept. And such a person alone can live in peace and happiness. This similar thought comes in Bhagavad Gita, the same thought here, before your body falls off. You must realize this. Now, when can this body fall off? Does anybody know? Does anybody know that tomorrow or day after or 10 years later? And where it will fall off, anybody knows? While you are walking or you are sleeping, while you are eating? Who knows? Nobody knows. At least you don't know. So if you don't put effort now and here, what is the use, it says. This is the idea. And the next sloka makes it extremely clear that if you don't do this now, the first sloka says you will go to different lokas. So you will say, so what? Let me go to different lokas. Then I will come back again. I will get another body. And then I will continue this journey. No. Yatha karma yatha shrutam. Yoni manye prapadyante. Sthanu manye anusayanti. Suppose you become a tree. Then I cannot realize Brahman. Yes, so start. Become tree, then from tree you will become some animal, from animal continue, one full loop you have come back again. So you don't know. Yatha karma yatha shrutam. And all the other lokas where you will end up after this, you don't know what's there. So the idea of this shloka is very powerful. It says, In this body, before this human body goes away, wake up and realize this self. Because after that, based on your karma and shrutam, because you have not realized Brahman, so you are still bound by the laws of karma. You may end up in anything. You may end up in an animal body, you may end up in an insect body, you may end up even being a tree or a stone. And never again you will be able to come back to this beautiful human life from where you can reach Brahman. No other species is given to realize Brahman, not even gods. You say Gandharvas, Devas and Pitrus, no, they are not. That is what the next shloka is going to tell you. It says, Yatha adarshe tathatmani, Yatha swapne tatha pitruloke, Yathapsu pariva dadrishe tatha gandharva loke, Chaya tapa yoriva brahma loke. So we will break this. What it means is that now he is telling which are the different lokas and why it is so difficult to realize Brahman in other lokas other than this Mrityu loka. You may think gods are very powerful, they can fly across the sky, they can bring rains and thunder, they can do so many things. But truth is that they can do all that, but they cannot realize Brahman. That is not given to them, see. A human being may not be able to do all those, so to say, powerful things, but for human being it is given to realize Brahman. This is the idea. So he says, in this body when you are, this knowledge of Brahman is as clear to you as a reflection in a clear mirror. Yatha adarshe, in the mirror, how you can see your own reflection, that clearly you can see Brahman when you are in the body, it says. Means that knowledge is very clear. If that mirror of the mind is clear, clean, Brahman will reflect there, it says. It's an analogy, it's a upama, a simile to be used. So it says, as you can see your reflection clearly in a mirror, so also you can realize this truth in this world without any confusion. But in Pitruloka, if you land up, means you have died, now you have become a Pitru. It means you are the Preta and you have landed up in Pitruloka. In Pitruloka, realizing truth is like seeing a dream. You may think you have realized the truth, but you have not realized it. In a dream, nothing is clear. We don't even remember sometimes when we wake up from a dream. What did we see? So in Pitruloka, even if you have realized Brahman, you may forget about realizing Brahman. It may go back again to the same ignorance. And you will again end up in the same. So in like dream, nothing remains real. Nothing remains. Like that in Pitruloka, if you land up after death, and you think, no, there I will sit and do meditation and realize Brahman, please know that there realizing Brahman is as if you realize something in a dream. In a dream, you are not the king, you are not a beggar. Like that, if you realize Brahman in Pitruloka, you have not realized Brahman at all. It is not clear at all, that loka. And what else is there? He says, no, if I am still better than my Pitrus, I am like a good ending up with the gods, with gods and heavens, where people of greater merits go. He says, Yatha apsu pariva dadrishe tatha gandharva loka. Then there is a Gandharva loka which is in Devatas. Where do these Gandharvas live? They live in Gandharva loka, which is Deva loka. But their problem is what? They're always busy in their dance and singing Tava. That's why Tavaivaha Tav Nritya Gita. Because he knows these Nritya Gita people are so lost in themselves. They won't listen to anything. So these Gandharvas are always lost in their own mind. That is why Gandharvas are very, very fickle-minded, they say. Very emotional. So in Gandharva Loka, you think you will realize Brahman? Listen, my child, realizing Brahman in Gandharva Loka is like seeing your reflection in water. If water keeps moving, your reflection also keeps moving. You can't clearly see. Still water is not possible because Gandharva's mind is very fickle. So what happens in a moving water, you can't see your reflection. Likewise, in Gandharva Loka, if you want to realize Brahman, it will be as good as seeing your reflection in a moving water. In water which is not still. So you will not realize Brahman, it is what is saying. And then only place you can really know Brahman clearly is Brahma Loka. Brahma Loka means where Prajapati Brahma, not the Brahman. Because Brahman has no Loka. Brahma Loka is that Satya Loka. Mahajana Tapa Satyam. The highest Loka is called Brahma Loka or Satya Loka. In that Loka, it's very clear. How clear it is? Like shadow and light. In Brahma Loka alone, this idea of Brahman and the Jagat is so clear, like shadow and light. But that Loka is the highest Loka. To go there only you have to do enough and more efforts in this Loka. How many yajnas, yagas and pujas and pariharas as per the Shastras to go to Brahma Loka like Trinachiketa Agni. All that if you do, you will go to Brahma Loka. There Brahman is very concept is clear. But you are so lazy that in this human birth you don't want to realize Brahman. You think you will put efforts, go to Brahma Loka and then realize Brahman. Forget it. This is the sarcasm. This is the idea. In this body here, if you realize Brahman, it's as clear as seeing your reflection in a mirror. It's so obvious, without any problem. If you go to Pitraloka, die, then it is like seeing a dream. I have realized Brahman, but you have not realized Brahman. If you go to Gandharvaloka because of better merits, your mind will be so fickle and busy with enjoyments of the Swarga. You remember there? Swarge loke na bhayam kinchan nasti na tatratam na jaraya viveti ubhe ashna pipase ubhe tirtva. You have finished your eating and drinking happily and shoka adiko modate Swargaloka. You are basically going to Swargaloka for what? To enjoy life. So are you going to be thinking of Brahman there? You will be thinking, I have done so much good, now it's time for me to enjoy life in Swarga. So where thinking of Brahman will happen there? So in that loka, trying to see Brahman is like trying to see your reflection in water which is not still. The only place where it is very clear is in Brahmaloka. But to reach Brahmaloka, the amount of effort that you have to put, better you put that effort in this world to realize Brahman. This is what he is trying to say. This world means, again he is told, Praksharirasya visrasaha, before your body falls off. And you don't know when your body is going to fall off. That's what when somebody said. But at least Parikshita knew 7 days later he is going to die. And what did he do? Next 7 days, he spent every single minute listening to Shuka's discourse on Krishna Leelas. The Bhagavatam came about like that. And after 7th day, he died. He couldn't save himself because nobody can change the death. Then what happened? But he died a peaceful death. He died liberated. Otherwise, he would have died in fear. But he died in a liberated mind. He had no fear while dying. So yatha karma yatha shrutam. Because he heard all the beautiful stories of Krishna, of Bhagavatam. And karma is what? He sat and meditated on this. So therefore he attained Krishna. So that is the idea of realizing Brahman now and here. Don't wait to go to Pitraloka and Gandharvaloka and Brahmaloka. That much effort if you are putting to go to Brahmaloka, as well put efforts to realize Brahman here itself. What is the point in doing that then? So do it now. That is why it's so important. Now is most important. Present is omnipresent. What you do now is all that is in your hand. Tomorrow we have not seen. Yesterday is already gone. All that is which is there is today and now. So don't delay is what the idea of these shlokas are. Before this body disappears, you never know when it will disappear. Pancha bhautikamaina durbalamaina kayambu. It is a very weak body. We don't know when it will fall. Therefore, now and here, work hard, realize Brahman, and don't delay and postpone for another day. No, there is no another day. You may die any day. So better not take chance and do as everything that is required in order to realize Brahman here and now. That is the purport of the shlokas. Don't wait for another loka, another birth, another yoni. We never know what's coming our way next. The next one shloka is Indriyanam prithak bhavam udaya astamayau chayat prithak utpadyamananam matva adhiro na shochati. So how do we deal with our indriyas in the world which is right now we are in? He says, know that all these indriyas which are there, prithak, they are different from the truth. The truth from which they are udayam astau chayat. They are born and they disappear. Like the waves are born of the ocean and disappear into the ocean. Like these indriyas are born and they die or disappear into the same truth. But they are different from the truth because they are illusions. And we get stuck with the illusion of the indriyas. And how are these indriyas? Shobhava, Jarayanti Tejaha. They come today, they disappear tomorrow, but in between they take away all our time, energy and vitality. They leave us with no energy. Like you could go for a marathon and come back. You are tired. I mean, most of them will have to be carried back after the marathon to their rooms. But then what? You drink some energy drinks and eat your food. By afternoon, you are back to your senses. Likewise, this one, Indriyas are very, very bad. Why? Because they distract you like anything. And then whatever they haranti, how with force they say, they steal your attention away from Brahman, these Indriyas. And how they come? Kama, Krodha, Udbhavam, Vegam. Quickly they come and catch you. One moment you miss your attention on Brahman, they come and overtake everything. They're always waiting on the side to catch hold of your mind and all your attention. That strong are these Indriyas. But know that these Indriyas come and go. Do you think the Indriyas themselves, which are not permanent, they can give you permanent joy? This body itself, which is not permanent, you think it can give you permanent joy? It comes and goes. Udaya, hasta. So you think you are going to be happy using this body and appeasing your senses? Forget it. It's not going to happen. And what is ulta going to happen? Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. The more you indulge with your indriyas in the world and enjoying the pleasures of the world, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, maitunan, cha, what will happen? You will lose all your energy. Like now, after little fever and this virus attack, you have lost a lot of energy and you are very dull. Same thing will happen to those who are spending all their energy in doing things of the indriyas. There is no energy left to pursue Brahman. That's why Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. For weak people, this Atman is not to be realized. It's only for the dhiras who know how to keep control on their mind and senses. So that is the thing. And then he says, Prathyak pruthak utpadyamananam matva dhiro na shochati. See, all these indriyas are different in nature and together also they are different from the Atman. Look at eyes, see, they cannot smell. Nose smells, it cannot taste. Tongues taste, they cannot hear. Ears hear, they cannot see. Even every indriya by themselves are different in nature. And together all these indriyas are also different from the Atman. This is the idea. Prathak udyamananam. They are born differently, originate separately. How? Each has their own limited powers. No indriya can do all the 5 things. Each indriya has been given their limited powers. With these limited indriyas, which are born separately and they are separate from Atman, you think you can realize Atman through these indriyas? Which cannot even, eyes cannot even smell, taste or touch or hear. All it can do is to see. With these kind of indriyas, which are so limited in nature, which come and go, and you get so carried away by their perceptions, you think you will realize that Brahman? Is not possible. So indriyas are not the way to realize Brahman, because indriyas themselves are born differently from Brahman, and each indriya by itself is born different from the other. So they have very limited powers. They are very limited in their strengths, and however, nevertheless, they are good enough to drain you of all your energies, all your pursuit of Brahman. So knowing this, that indriyas are not the truth, knowing that indriya sukha is not the ultimate sukha, knowing that all this is not real, Brahman alone is real, the one who thinks like that, such a person matva dhiro na shochati. That dhira who has discriminated, indriyas are not truth, indriyas are born separately and they have their own separate existence with their separate faculties. Brahman is different. The one who realizes dhira na shochati never comes to any grief. Why? Because he never indulges in that which is not necessary. Yached vang manasi pragya tadyached jnanam atmani. This is the reason why that shloka is so powerful and important. Withdraw your indriyas and mind. How kurba ganiva samharate yada. Like how a tortoise withdraws its limbs. When it sees danger coming, withdraws. And how quickly you have to withdraw? Kama krodha udbhavam vegam. Very quickly they come. This kama krodha and all these indriya prabhavas. So immediately you have to withdraw. And this has to be practiced. Begins there. When you are able to withdraw your indriyas, pratyahara, then only spiritual progress begins. Otherwise all your time energy will first get lost in appeasing the indriyas, which you cannot control. And then the rest of the life in the guilt that you have appeased the indriyas. Now what's the use? So this is why he says the indriyas have to be kept under control, and knowing very well that this body made of indriyas is not Brahman. This is the manifestation, this is an instrument. But don't get entangled there. And knowing this, the one who lives the life in the pursuit of Brahman never comes to any grief. This is the idea. So how many ideas we saw just now? We saw the idea that the whole jagat is nothing but like the tree which grows from Brahman but binds us to the world. So what should I do? I am a dhira, I am a person who has discrimination. So asanga shastrena, drinena chitva. Go up and cut off these roots with firmness, with conviction, with courage. Don't slowly do it. Do it at once. Don't wait for another day. It won't come. Who knows? And then it went on to say, if you think that you can do it later, it's not possible. While you are in this body, only do it. Because after that, you will end up in some other lokas like Pitraloka, Gandharva Loka. And those lokas are not the right lokas to realize Brahman. And even if you end up at Brahma Loka, where you can understand Brahman, the amount of effort you will have to put to reach Brahma Loka, as well you put that effort now to realize Brahman in this Loka here itself. Why do you need to wait for so long? So think this way, and also realize that Indriyas which you think is the reality, and all you think you'll be happy with these Indriya Sukha, know for sure that this is all illusion, this is not Brahman. With that we cannot attain Brahman. The only way is withdraw the Indriyas, withdraw the mind into Buddhi, and Buddhi into the higher Buddhi, discriminating Buddhi, and through that Sukshma Buddhi, Agraya Buddhi, realize the truth of Brahman is the clarion call of these Upanishads, that don't waste time. That's why the time waste is life waste. Now the next shloka is very similar to the earlier shloka. So this is like the Yachedvang Manasi shloka. So let us go through that. It says, Indriyebhya param mano manasah sattvam uttamam sattvadadi mahanatma mahato avyaktam uttamam. Next shloka also. Avyaktaktu paras purusho vyapako alingam evacha yam gyatva muchyate jantuhu amrutatvam cha gacchati. So it's similar like Indriyebhya parahi artha arthebhya param manaha manasastu para buddhi buddhe jnanamatmani mahatam paraha. That 8 step we saw. So similar idea. It says Indriyebhya param mano. Compared to the Indriyas, mind is subtler and the greater. And above mind, manasa sattvam uttamam. Sattvam means sattva buddhi. From your mind, which is only the collection of data with the Indriyas, buddhi which analyzes this data, if it's sattva buddhi, then it is uttamam. Suppose it is rajo buddhi or tamo buddhi, no uttamam. Sattva uttamam. If you have the sattva buddhi to realize real and unreal, nitya, that is sattva buddhi, that is better than that. Sattvadadi mahanatma. And this greater than that, superior to this sattva buddhi is what? Mahan buddhi, which is the Hiranyagarbha buddhi, like we say that, which is the cosmic consciousness, the mind of the God. It knows better than our individual thinking. It means don't think about your individual, think collective, society way. It is better than your selfish individual thinking. Think selflessly is what it's saying. So Mahanatma, Mahato Avyaktam Uttamam. Above Hiranyagarbha is Ishvara. He is unmanifest Brahman only. Why is unmanifest? Because he is not yet shown his power. He is the potential energy. It has not shown a kinetic aspect. So Ishvara is thinking but not created yet. So Avyaktam is greater than the Hiranyagarbha, we know that. And Avyakta to Para Purusham. Above Ishvara is the ultimate Purusha, who is Brahman himself, Para Brahman. Because Ishvara is the Avyakta Brahman. Hiranyagarbha is the Vyakta Brahman. Hiranyagarbha or Virata, whichever way you call it. So somebody asked me this question, Hiranyagarbha is in Sukshma, Avyakta or Vyakta? I said it is at the doorstep. Neither it is Vyakta nor it is Avyakta. Because if it becomes Vyakta, it will become Virata with all the faculties. And if it becomes Avyakta, it will be Ishvara. It's in the middle, like the cusp of both. Important is to know that beyond that is the Parabrahman. Avyakta Brahman is Ishvara. Beyond that is the Parabrahman. Is it Vyakta? Is it Avyakta? We cannot say. It is Asti Iti. That's all it is. So that is why it says Vyapako. It is everywhere. In everything, in every aspect of this creation, it is there. But how it is alingaha? Is there a sign? Is there a pointer towards it? Is there any quality through which I can know it? That it is black in color, or it is white in color, or it is sweet, or it is sour, it is large, or it is small. Lingam means a chinha, a symbol. Is there anything that points towards it? Anything that looks like it? A lingam. Nothing is like it. So, evacha, that is the truth of that ultimate. Yam gyatva, the one who comes to know of it. Muchyate jantuhu. From this birth of a jantu, muchyate, he has redeemed himself. And amrutatvam he gacchati, and attains what? That immortal Parabrahman only he attains. This birth and death and then again and again going through this cycle comes to an end. This is the idea. Shankaracharya says in our Viveka Chudamani, very, very powerful shloka is there. So in the shloka, in Shankaracharya's Viveka Chudamani, he starts only with this Jantu Nam Narajanma Durlabham. That is the first shloka. After his stuti to his guru, he says, of all the beings, which is 84 lakh species is what our Upanishads, Vedas say, human birth is the rarest of the rare. And then he goes on to say in the second shloka, Manushyatvam, Mumukshatvam, Mahapurusha Samshraya. These three if you get, you are very, very lucky. It's God's grace that you have got all the three. Manushyatvam you have got of all the animal species. Mumukshatvam you have got the desire to attain moksha. And Mahapurusha Samshraya, a company of a noble one you have got. Because only being a human, wanting to know Brahman is not enough. Somebody has to teach you how to go about it, how to realize that Brahman. Otherwise you will be simply going in circles without proper guidance. So it's so important. And the third shloka he says, Labdhva kathan chin narajanma durlabham. Somehow you have, by hook or crook, you have attained the human birth. Labdhva kathan chin narajanma durlabham. The rarest of the human birth you have somehow acquired. Then tatrapi, in that also, pumsatvam Shruti Paradarshanam. In that also you have attained the male birth and Shruti Paradarshanam. You have understood. Darshanam means you have understood all the philosophy and Shruti. The entire philosophy of the Vedas you have understood. On the girl side will say, why this male birth? Why they are not saying Stristvam? Why Pumsatvam? In those days, the knowledge of Vedas were available to only men. Women were not allowed to go to Vedic schools and colleges. For a long time, this was the culture. So when Shankaracharya was writing this, obviously the culture was when women were not given much importance for average women were not given much importance. Like that Ubaya Bharati was there who was equal to Shankara in a debate. So like that there were those Gargis, Maitreyis and people like that. But for average women, the access to Brahmagyana, access to Vedanta, Vedas was very, very difficult. That's why he said that you are not born a woman, you are born a man. Shankaracharya was born around that time, 800s, 900s time, so almost 1400 years before. And in that time the social structure was such that women were not getting an opportunity to even go to Gurukulas or learn Paravidya like that. Nor they could just walk away from the home and become sannyasins. Everybody couldn't become Akka Mahadevi or Mirabai. Look at what difficulty Mirabai and Akka Mahadevi had to go through. So you cannot compare. So that is why he said that men born as first of all human being, on top of that born as a man, on top of that having learnt Vedas and got access to the Shruti Darshana. And then what? After all these things, yastvatma muktau na yateta mudadihi, that person who for his own liberation does not put effort, that foolish fellow, how is his situation? Sahi atmaha swam vinihatya sadruhat. That person is how? As if he is committing his own death. It means he is committing suicide. If you are born as a human being, on top of that you have learned Upanishads, that to KATHOPANISHAD, one of the gem of the Upanishads. After this also, if you don't put any efforts to liberate yourself, we'll do it tomorrow, after 10 years, that fool mudadi, sahyatmaha swam, that person is on his own, by his own effort, vinihantya sadrahat, killing his own self. This is the story. Same thing says Ishavasya Upanishad says, Andham prama pravishanti, suryanam te loka, andhena tamasavritah, tam pretyavi gachanti, yeke cha atmahano janaha, he says. They enter the world called Asurya Nama Loka, where Sura means deities or gods. Asurya means demons. No, they are tortured by all the demons, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara. They enter such a world which is covered in darkness. Andhena tamasa avritaha. Blinding darkness. Andhena. Blinding darkness. Tamasa, darkness, avritaha, covered by it. Tan te pretya abhigachanti. After dying, then they becomes pretas, pitrulokas. They enter such worlds because of their bad deeds. Who? Yekecha atmahano jana. Who has committed their own murder. It means who have committed suicide. It means who have not put effort on the spiritual path. They enter a world so dark, blinding dark, and they suffer there, and they are tortured by the demons, asuras. Why? Because they have not realized Brahman. So after having got a human birth and the birth of somebody who has gotten access to this education and understanding, after that also if you don't put an effort to realize Brahman, you are such a fool who has committed suicide. This is the equivalent of what it has been spoken in other places. I wanted to bring it to your notice because here Kathopanishad is trying to emphasize on that point that please don't take it easy. Don't take it lightly. If you must realize Brahman, it is now and here. Not after you retire. Not after everybody has kicked you out of the home and now you have to go and find a shelter in some Rishi Muni's ashram. Not when your deathbed, cancer has come, now I want to realize Brahman quickly. Why? I don't know. Not like that. Here and now, when you are young, healthy, hale and hearty, this is the right time, right opportunity, right place. That is why I told some time back. If not here, then where? If not now, then when? If not this way, then in which way are you going to realize Brahman? The time is now, the place is this, the way is this. Upanishads, Vedanta. This is the time and this is the place. And if this does not happen here, now and in this way, nowhere, anytime, in any other way, it can be achieved. So this is the best of the thing, after many Shatajanma Punya Krutaihi Vina, I says. Unless you have done crores of punyas for 100 births, you don't get this opportunity, Viveka Chudamani says. So with all these coming together, we must be very serious about spiritual progress. We must be very bent upon realizing ourselves. After that, Matva Dhiro na shochati, there will be never a sorrowful moment in your life. Always Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva. Always you are busy, always you are happy, in bliss. Atma Krida, Atma Rati Kriyavan, Esham Brahma Vidam Varishta. You become the best of the Brahma Gyanis. Why? All the time in your bliss of the self. But also acting, you are also working, you are also studying, you are also teaching, administering. Yet within yourself, you are busy enjoying that state of Brahman. Activities are happening only outside. Like the waves are playing on the surface, deep down in the ocean, there is absolute calm. You will master this art. This is really the art of living. How to live a life that within you are absolutely calm and peaceful and grounded. Without, you are busy. Very, very busy. Both should happen. This kind of life you must lead is the idea of the Upanishads. It seems once it so happened that one person heard that Janaka was a Brahma Gyani. And he came to meet Janaka to understand how does he manage this whole kingdom, at the same time remains established in this idea of Brahman. So like this, somebody came to Janaka's palace, some guru, and he said, I want to understand how do you manage this entire place and yet not be disturbed? How did you do it? How do you do it? So he said, no, we will discuss that later. Come, let's have some lunch. You have come, any Brahmana or Atiti Grihan, anybody who comes, I must feed him, I must respect him. So he calls, okay, he says. So when they are serving the food to this Brahmin, what this Janaka does is he hangs a sword with a very thin thread like of a hair. The mane of the horse or the tail of the horse has the hair. With that hair he hands a heavy sword right on the neck of this Brahmin and says, eat like that, he says. The food is very interesting. Rajabhoga it is. Where will this poor monk will get such nice food unless he comes to a palace of Janaka? Janaka has served him all Bhaksha Bhojas. He says, eat peacefully. Can he eat peacefully with that sword hanging on his neck? Any time it can fall. And he's eating and eating because the king has told he cannot refuse. He's hungry too. He's eating and eating. After the food gets over, he says, so how was the lunch? He said, what lunch? I don't even know what I've eaten. Why? Was the food not good? He said, food was good or not, I don't even realize why, because my mind was always on the sword which is hanging on top of my neck. When it will fall and when I am done. And you are the king, I can't even talk back. Out of fear I was eating something, but I ate khara or I ate sihi or I ate papad or I ate puri. I don't know what I have done. Then Janaka said, this is how I lead my life. Knowing that death is hanging any time on my neck. Anytime I can lose this thing, I keep all my attention on that Brahman who's beyond death, who's beyond birth. And I go on doing. So it means I am doing everything without getting attached to anything. Like somebody who's having a sword hanging on the neck cannot enjoy the food. Oh, this is sweet. Give me one more cup of paisam. Would he ask? He'll say, the earlier I finish the food and vanish, the better it is. He's not going to demand second helping, third helping. Like that, remember, harate nimishat kalat sarvam. Kala is always, the kala khadga is hanging on your neck. Any moment it can drop. So don't waste your time. Remember that Brahman alone is real, Jagan Mithya, and whatever you have got to do in this world, be it teaching, learning and playing and administering, do it as it comes, without getting involved. Like this man cannot get involved with the food. So Janaka teaches him a practical lesson, Bodha, that this is how you must lead your life in the world, always mindful that death is inevitable, and I must realize Brahman before such a day comes, body drops away. So how can I enjoy all these things? How can I enjoy pleasures of the senses? How can I enjoy? It's not possible. I may do it because I must do it. But beyond that, can I get involved and entangled in them? Not possible. So like that, one has to be mindful of time, mindful of the opportunity, mindful of all that Brahman has brought your way for you to realize. And not get too entangled in your indriya and indriyarthas. Then you have lost the whole thing. Then what will happen? Instead of finishing his food, he would be asking second helping, third helping, and sometime that thread will snap. So that is the idea. Live in this world, but let not the world live in you. Let the boat be in water, let not the water come inside the boat. This is the secret of living. Only a Brahmagyani can live like this. Let there be a storm, let there be calm, doesn't matter. Every time he is able to take things as it comes. So this is a very, very important thing. Only Brahmagyanis can live in this world and not let the world live in them. All others will get sunk. That is the Bhavasagara, they go inside. Why? Because they have forgotten. That is why Shurasya Dhara Nishta Durutyaya. All the time you have to be mindful that Brahman realization is alone the truth. All this is false, and you make a mistake, get entangled with your senses and mind, Shurasya Dhara. You're walking on the razor's edge, so it will cut you into two. So being mindful, merge your indriyas and indriyarthebhyas into mind, and take the mind, merge into buddhi. Means without buddhi's saying, without buddhi's command, the mind and indriyas should not behave. And this buddhi you merge it into the higher buddhi, at least individual consciousness, me, I, myself. From there, us, ours, higher buddhi. Let for everybody's sake let us do things, not for my sake. And from there the highest buddhi is what? Let God's sake only everything happen. It's not about me, it's not even about you, it's about what Brahman and God wants. And leave it at that and behave accordingly. Everything will be perfect. Nothing is imperfect in God's creation. Everything is perfect. Like the apple is perfect on the tree and pumpkin is perfect on the ground. Everything is perfect. Nothing to worry, nothing to, because he is standing with his sword up. Mahat bhayam. Very scary he is. You think anybody can misbehave in front of him, including Mrityu? Mrityu dhavati panchama. I am the fifth one who runs. With his fear says Mrityu himself. You think anything can happen if you are established in this thought of Brahman? Should you lead life like those rats and insects? Scared of their death all the time. AHORA nidra bhaya maithuna. Keep going in the same circle. You are greater than that. You are Brahman. Realizing that, be fearless and be cheerful at all the times. A, B, C. Always be cheerful. This is what it is. How can I be cheerful always, Swami? So many problems in life. No problems are there. All this is design of Brahman. We have not learnt our lessons, so he keeps putting some new tests and challenges and problems. If we have become adept at it, we will not even see it as a problem. We will just walk through it peacefully without realizing. Prahlada never felt any problem. His father was putting so many problems. Prahlada never cried and said, do this, do that. Even Narayana Mantram, Narayana Bhajanam. What else he had chanted? Nothing. So no problem is a problem for a Brahmagyani. Every problem is an experience. It's a lesson. That's how one thinks and moves on. Whereas a normal person, a Brahmagyani, Agyani, he will shiver and shudder at every little thing in life. And most of the world lives in fear. That's why I say bhayam, bratuku bhayam. Every small thing they're afraid. Such lowly, miserable lives they lead in that Brahma. So be Brahman and be fearless. That is the message of Upanishads.